The massive alien warship cast a shadow over the United Nations building in New York. Its dark metal hull stretched for miles across the sky, blocking out the morning sun. On Earth, people stood frozen in the streets, their heads tilted upward at the sight that would change human history forever. Inside the UN's Emergency Command Center, Captain Tom Miller watched the main screen with a frown. His hand automatically reached down to scratch behind the ears of Max, his golden retriever, who sat calmly beside his chair. The dog's presence wasn't exactly standard protocol, but today was anything but standard. "Sir, they're broadcasting again," called out one of the communications officers. The screen flickered, revealing a tall, purple-skinned alien. Its four eyes blinked in an unsettling pattern as it began to speak in perfectly translated English. "People of Earth," the alien commander's voice boomed through the speakers. "Our intelligence services have discovered your secret. We know about the beasts you keep in your homes, the biological weapons you have bred for war. Surrender these creatures to us immediately, or we will have no choice but to consider this an act of war." Tom looked down at Max, who was now sleeping peacefully on his side, one paw twitching as he chased something in his dreams. The captain couldn't help but smile, despite the situation. "What weapons are they talking about?" asked General Roberts, his face red with confusion. Before anyone could answer, the alien commander continued. "We have seen your training facilities. We have witnessed these beasts taking down your own armed forces in practice combat. Their speed, strength, and loyalty to their handlers make them the deadliest weapons in your arsenal." The room fell silent as understanding slowly dawned on their faces. Tom had to bite his lip to keep from laughing out loud. Are they talking about dogs?" asked someone in the back of the room. The alien commander displayed several images on the screen. They showed police K-9 units in training, hunting dogs tracking prey, and military dogs performing exercises. These creatures can detect hidden explosives, track targets across vast distances, and take down enemies 3 times their size. Hand them over, or face the consequences. Max chose that moment to wake up, yawning widely and showing off his teeth. Several people in the room couldn't help but chuckle. "Captain Miller," General Roberts turned to Tom, "your dog is cleared for all areas of this facility. Would you say he's a deadly weapon?" Tom watched as Max spotted his own tail and began chasing it in circles. "Oh, absolutely deadly, sir. He once destroyed my favorite pair of shoes and showed no remorse." The humor was cut short as the alien commander's voice grew harder. "You have 6 Earth hours to begin surrendering your war beasts. If you refuse..." The image changed to show a massive cannon on the alien ship, glowing with energy. "We will have no choice but to eliminate your major cities one by one." The room erupted into chaos. Military officers shouted about defense strategies, politicians argued about diplomatic responses, and scientists debated possible technological countermeasures. But Tom had an idea. He watched as Max finally caught his tail, seemed surprised by this achievement, and then immediately let it go to chase it again. "Sir," he said, raising his voice above the commotion, "I think I know how to handle this." General Roberts raised an eyebrow. "Go on, Captain." "They've only seen dogs in military and police footage. They've never seen..." Tom pulled out his phone and showed the general a video of Max as a puppy, trying to catch snowflakes on his tongue and falling over in confusion. The general's stern face cracked into a smile. "Are you suggesting what I think you're suggesting, Captain?" "Yes, sir. I think it's time we arranged a diplomatic meeting." Tom reached down to pet Max, who rolled over immediately for belly rubs. "And I know exactly who our ambassador should be." As if understanding his important new role, Max let out a huge yawn and fell asleep again, this time snoring softly. High above them, the alien commander watched Earth's major cities through his ship's sensors, completely unaware that his entire species' understanding of Earth's most dangerous weapon was about to be completely upended by a belly rub and a wagging tail. 2 hours after the alien ultimatum, the UN Command Center had turned into what looked like a dog show. On every screen, videos of dogs played on repeat, puppies learning to howl, dogs failing to catch treats, and pets dressing up for Halloween. "Send them this one," Tom said, pointing to a video of a husky throwing a tantrum when told it was time for a bath. The communications team nodded, adding it to the stream of footage they were broadcasting toward the alien ship. Max watched the screens with his head tilted to one side, occasionally barking at the dogs he saw. His tail wagged nonstop, thumping against the floor in a steady rhythm. Suddenly, all screens switched to show the alien commander. His purple face had turned slightly blue, which they guessed meant he was angry. "You mock us with these transmissions," the commander bellowed. "We demand you take this seriously. We have seen what these beasts can do." The alien footage played again. Police dogs jumping through windows, military dogs running obstacle courses, guard dogs protecting facilities. But this time, they noticed something interesting about the footage. "Sir," called out Lisa from the intelligence team, "look at the dates on their surveillance. They've only been watching Earth for 3 days, and they've only observed military and police facilities." Tom scratched his chin, then reached down to scratch Max's chin too. "So they've never seen a dog park, or a pet store, or my backyard where this mighty warrior here spends hours chasing butterflies." "That's correct," Lisa replied, typing rapidly. "Their intelligence is completely based on working dogs. They have no idea about." She was cut off as Max spotted his reflection in a blank screen and started barking at himself. Several people in the room couldn't help but laugh. The alien commander's face appeared again. "What is this? Some kind of psychological warfare? Your beasts are clearly trained to deceive. We see them infiltrating your homes, sleeping in your beds, even consuming food from your tables. Should we tell them that my mom's Chihuahua has its own custom-made bed that's fancier than mine?" Someone whispered, causing more laughter. General Roberts stepped forward. "Captain Miller, I think it's time for your diplomatic mission. The aliens have agreed to a meeting on neutral ground, their space station in orbit. They want to inspect one of our weapon systems up close." Tom looked down at Max, who had rolled onto his back, paws in the air, hoping for a belly rub. "What do you say, buddy? Ready to prevent an interstellar war?" Max's tail wagged faster. The preparation for the space mission was interesting, to say the least. They had to custom-make a spacesuit for Max, complete with a tail hole. The golden retriever seemed to think it was a new kind of game, spinning in circles every time they tried to put it on him. "Remember," the general briefed Tom, "they think he's a highly trained military asset. They're expecting some kind of super soldier." Tom watched as Max got distracted by his own tail again. "Well, he did once successfully defend our backyard from a squirrel, though the squirrel came back 5 minutes later, and Max tried to make friends with it." As they prepared to board the shuttle, the alien commander sent one final message. "We are scanning your transport vessel. We detect only one beast. Do you take us for fools? Where are its weapons, its armor, its combat upgrades?" Tom looked at Max, who was currently fascinated by the way his paw prints showed up on the shiny floor of the shuttle. "Trust me," he replied to the commander. "He's all we need." The shuttle lifted off, carrying humanity's greatest diplomat, a 2-year-old golden retriever who had once gotten stuck in a cardboard box because he forgot he could walk backward. As they rose through the atmosphere, Tom reviewed his mission notes. The fate of Earth might rest on Max's ability to be himself, a friendly, slightly goofy dog who had never met a stranger he didn't want to befriend. Looking at the alien station growing larger in the viewport, Tom smiled. The aliens were expecting a beast, a weapon, a war dog. Instead, they were about to meet a good boy who still got excited about tennis balls and thought the vacuum cleaner was his arch nemesis. "Ready for your big moment, Ambassador Max." Max's response was to lick his own nose and then look surprised about it. The space station's docking bay was filled with heavily armed alien guards. Their weapons were pointed at the shuttle door, and their armor looked thick enough to stop a tank. Tom could hear them muttering in their own language as he prepared to exit with Max. "Remember, boy," Tom whispered, adjusting Max's special space collar. "Just be yourself." The shuttle door opened with a soft hiss. The aliens tensed, their weapons humming with power. Then Max trotted out, his tail wagging like a furry metronome, wearing his doggy spacesuit that made him look like a puffy astronaut. "Behold," announced the alien commander, who stood behind 3 layers of energy shields. "The humans have brought forth their ultimate." He stopped mid-sentence as Max spotted him, and sat down, tilting his head in that special way dogs do when they're confused. "What is this?" the commander demanded. "Where are its cybernetic enhancements, its armor, its weapon systems?" "This is Max," Tom said calmly, trying not to smile as Max's tail thumped against the floor. "He's a standard Earth dog. A golden retriever, to be specific." The alien analysts rushed forward with scanning devices. Max watched them with interest, his tongue lolling out in a happy pant. When one analyzer got close, Max gave it a friendly lick. "Contamination attack," screamed one of the aliens, jumping backward. "The beast has deployed its biological weapon." Tom couldn't help but laugh. "That's just how dogs say hello. It's called a kiss." The commander's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. "A kiss? You mean this is some form of chemical warfare?" Before Tom could answer, Max did something that sent the entire alien security team into chaos. He flopped onto his back, exposing his belly. "Comdade, stay NCEDT. The aliens retreated further, raising their weapons. "The beast has assumed an attack position." "Actually," Tom said, kneeling down beside Max, "he wants belly rubs. Like this." He demonstrated, scratching Max's belly. Max's back legs started thumping against the floor in happiness. The aliens watched in fascination as Max wiggled in joy, his tongue hanging out sideways. "Is this some form of mind control?" the commander asked, stepping closer despite his guard's protests. "The way its leg moves, is it generating some kind of hypnotic frequency?" Tom shook his head. "He's just happy. Dogs do this when they're comfortable and want to show trust. It's a sign of friendship." The commander's eyes narrowed. "Friendship? With a weapon?" "That's what we've been trying to tell you," Tom explained. "Dogs aren't weapons. They're companions, friends, family members. Sure, some are trained for special jobs, but most are just pets who live in our homes because we love each other." Max chose that moment to roll back over and shake himself, his ears flapping. Several alien guards flinched. "Impossible," the commander muttered. "Our intelligence clearly shows them attacking your enemies, guarding your facilities, hunting in packs." "Those are working dogs," Tom agreed. "They're specially trained, but even they go home at night to sleep on soft beds and play with squeaky toys." He pulled out a small tennis ball from his pocket. "Here, let me show you something." The aliens raised their weapons again as Tom held up the ball. Max immediately focused on it, his whole body wiggling with excitement. "This," Tom said, "is Max's favorite thing in the universe." He tossed the ball gently across the docking bay. Max bounded after it, his spacesuit making soft swooshing noises. He grabbed the ball, pranced around proudly for a moment, then brought it back to Tom, dropping it at his feet with a hopeful look. The commander stared. "It retrieved the projectile and returned it." "Why?" "Because it's fun," Tom said, picking up the ball. "Want to try?" The commander looked at the ball, then at his guards, then at Max's expectant face. Slowly, hesitantly, he reached out with his 4-fingered hand. "Be careful, sir," one of his guards warned. "It could be a trap." But Max just sat there patiently, tail sweeping the floor, watching the ball with eager eyes. The commander took it, and with a careful motion, tossed it across the room. Max zoomed after it, his joyful energy infectious. Even some of the alien guards lowered their weapons, fascinated by this strange creature who seemed more interested in playing than fighting. Perhaps, the commander said slowly, watching Max return with the ball, we should discuss this situation further. In the space station's main conference room, the Alien Intelligence Committee sat around a large table, their faces showing various shades of confusion. On the big screen in front of them played a video of a puppy trying to catch its own reflection in a mirror. "And you say this is a training video?" asked the head analyst, taking careful notes. Tom tried not to laugh. "No, it's just a regular puppy learning about mirrors. We take videos because we think it's cute." Max lay under the conference table, happily chewing on a squeaky toy that the commander himself had given him. Every squeeze of the toy made the junior analysts jump. But what is the tactical advantage of this cuteness? Another analyst waved his four-fingered hand at the screen, which now showed a compilation of dogs being confused by magic tricks. "There isn't one," Tom explained. "We just love them. They make us happy." The committee members looked at each other in bewilderment. One of them played a clip from their original intelligence gathering. A police dog taking down a training dummy. "Then explain this," the analyst demanded. "Clear combat capabilities." "Yes, some dogs are trained for special jobs," Tom agreed. "But watch this." He pulled out his tablet and showed them a video of the same police dog at home, being scared of a cat sitting in his bed. The aliens stared in silence. "Impossible," one whispered. "The combat unit shows fear of a smaller creature. Dogs are still dogs, even when they work. They're our friends first, helpers second." Tom scratched behind Max's ears as the golden retriever emerged from under the table, having thoroughly squeaked his new toy. The commander, who had been quietly watching, leaned forward. "Show us more of this." "Friendship." Tom smiled and started playing more videos. Dogs welcoming soldiers home, therapy dogs in hospitals, rescue dogs finding lost hikers, puppies learning to howl, dogs making friends with ducks, and a very patient dog letting a baby use him as a pillow. The aliens were fascinated. Their note-taking became less about tactical analysis and more about understanding this strange relationship between humans and dogs. "And any human can have one of these companions?" the commander asked. "Most people can, yes, as long as they can provide a good home and proper care." Tom showed them pictures of different dog breeds. "They come in all shapes and sizes. Some are big, some are tiny. Each has their own personality." The video changed to show a dog agility competition. The aliens leaned forward, their military training kicking in as they analyzed the obstacle course. Then they saw the small dogs competition, where a tiny chihuahua pranced through the same course. "Size does not determine combat effectiveness," an analyst asked. "It's not about combat," Tom explained patiently. "It's a game. The dogs do it because it's fun, and because they enjoy working with their humans." Max chose this moment to put his head on the commander's lap, looking up with hopeful eyes. What is it doing?" the commander asked, trying to maintain his dignified pose. "He wants you to pet him," Tom said. "He's decided you're his friend." The commander slowly, carefully placed his hand on Max's head. Max's tail immediately started wagging, thumping against the conference table legs. The vibration pattern, it indicates pleasure. The commander asked, his military training still trying to analyze everything. "It means he's happy," Tom said simply. "Dogs wag their tails when they're happy." The entire committee watched in amazement as their fearsome commander began to smile, an expression none of them had seen before, while petting Max. "Perhaps," the commander said slowly, "we should consider establishing a cultural exchange program for tactical understanding." Of course. One of the analysts was already watching a video of puppies learning to swim, completely forgetting to take notes. Another had discovered compilations of dogs getting caught stealing food and was trying not to laugh. "Of course," Tom agreed seriously, "for tactical understanding." Under the table, Max had fallen asleep on the commander's feet, snoring softly. The mighty alien leader didn't seem to mind at all. "Though I must ask," the commander said, still petting Max, "what is this strange thing humans say to them? This who's a good boy?" Tom grinned. This was going to be an interesting cultural exchange indeed. The space station's warning sirens started blaring just as Max was teaching the alien commander how to play fetch properly. Red lights flashed across the conference room as crew members rushed past the doors. "Space pirates!" someone shouted. 3 ships, heavily armed. The commander jumped to his feet, but looked down guiltily at the tennis ball still in his hand. "I apologize. We must pause our cultural exchange." Before anyone could move, the station shook violently. The pirates' first shots had hit their mark. Hull breach in sectors 7 through 9. The station's computer announced calmly, "Emergency lockdowns in effect." Tom grabbed Max's spacesuit, which they'd removed during the conference. "Time to suit up, buddy." But Max wasn't paying attention to the suit. His ears were perked up, his whole body alert. Then he started barking at one of the ventilation shafts. "Silence that beast," an analyst hissed. "The pirates will hear." The vent cover burst open. 2 space pirates, wearing dark armor and carrying plasma guns, dropped into the room. But before they could fire, Max was already moving. He didn't attack them. Instead, he grabbed the commander's sleeve and pulled him toward the emergency exit, just as the pirates' shots hit where the commander had been standing. "Follow the dog," Tom shouted, remembering Max's search and rescue training. The aliens didn't question it. They'd just seen Max save their commander's life. They ran through the station's corridors, Max in the lead. Every time they approached an intersection, he'd bark if pirates were nearby, leading them safely around the danger. "How is he doing this?" the commander asked as they ran. "Dogs have amazing hearing and can smell people even through spacesuits," Tom explained. "Some are trained to find people in disasters. Max did search and rescue training before becoming my pet." They reached the station's medical bay, where several crew members were trapped behind malfunctioning doors. Max immediately went to work, finding the manual release panels that the aliens had forgotten about in their panic. "The beast, he is saving our people," an analyst whispered in awe. "That's what dogs do," Tom said proudly as Max helped guide a group of scared alien children from their hiding spot. "They help people, not because they're weapons, but because they care." The station rocked with another explosion. The lights flickered, and the computer announced, "Life support failing in multiple sectors. Emergency evacuation recommended." The commander looked devastated. "The pirates will take the station. Years of scientific research will be lost." Max barked suddenly, running to a wall panel and pawing at it. "What is it, boy? You smell something." The commander scanned the wall. This leads to the central computer core, but it's too small for us to reach." Tom looked at the maintenance tunnel access panel, then at Max, but not too small for a dog. Understanding dawned on the commander's face. "Can he?" "Max," Tom said seriously, "remember your agility training. Time to put it to use." They opened the panel, and Tom attached a small data drive the commander gave him to Max's collar. "Good boy. Go save the station." Max disappeared into the tunnel. For several tense minutes, they waited, listening to the sounds of fighting getting closer. Then suddenly, the station's lights turned green. The computer spoke. "Emergency protocols engage. Security systems online. Intruder containment initiated." Through the tunnel came the sound of happy barking. Max emerged, covered in dust, but looking very pleased with himself, his tail wagging. The commander's communicator crackled. "Sir, the pirates are trapped. Force fields have activated in all occupied sectors." "He did it," the commander whispered. "He actually did it." He knelt down in front of Max. "You are truly a hero, but not because you are a weapon. Because you are a good boy." Max responded by giving the commander a big, sloppy kiss. Later, after the pirates were captured and the station was secured, the aliens watched in amazement as their mighty savior rolled over on his back, asking for belly rubs from anyone who would give them. "I understand now," the commander said to Tom. "Your dogs are not weapons of war. They are something far more powerful. They are friends who choose to help, to protect, to save, and then ask only for belly rubs in return." "That's right," Tom said, watching as even the most serious analysts took turns petting Max, though he probably wouldn't say no to a treat, too. "Treats," the commander exclaimed. "Yes, we must immediately establish a diplomatic treaty regarding the exchange of these treats you speak of." The day after the pirate attack, the space station looked very different. Gone were the nervous guards with weapons. Instead, aliens gathered around viewing screens in every corridor, watching Earth's dog videos with fascination. In the main observation deck, Tom sat with the commander, watching Earth spin slowly below them. Max lay between them, occasionally rolling over to get belly rubs from both human and alien hands. "Our entire military assessment was wrong," the commander admitted, scratching Max's favorite spot behind his ears. "We thought humans had created the ultimate biological weapon, but instead, you found out we just made really good friends," Tom finished, smiling as Max's tail thumped happily against the floor. The commander nodded, all four eyes focused on Max. "On our world, we engineer everything. Every creature has a purpose, a function. The idea of friendship with another species, it never occurred to us." Their conversation was interrupted by an excited young alien analyst running into the room. Sir, you must see this immediately." The analyst played a video on the main screen. It showed a small puppy trying to climb stairs for the first time, failing, then trying again and again until it succeeded. "You see," the analyst said excitedly, "they learn. They adapt, not through programming or engineering, but through," he checked his notes, "through something humans call determination and love." The commander watched the video, then looked down at Max. "How long have dogs been with humans?" "Thousands of years," Tom explained. "They started as wild wolves, but over time, they chose to live with us. We didn't force them. They decided humans were worth befriending." "Chose?" The commander seemed amazed by this concept. "You mean they evolved naturally to be your companions?" "Exactly." Tom pulled out his tablet and showed them pictures of different dogs. Tiny Chihuahuas, massive Great Danes, fluffy Samoyeds, sleek Greyhounds. We helped shape their breeding over time, but their loyalty, their friendship, that was their choice. The analyst was frantically taking notes. "And each of these variations has different functions. Some were bred for specific jobs, yes, but mostly they're just different types of friends. Some are energetic, some are lazy, some are smart, some are silly, just like people." Max demonstrated this by trying to catch his own tail, spinning in circles until he got dizzy and flopped over. The commander laughed, a sound that made several nearby crew members stare in shock. Their fearsome leader, laughing at a dog's antics. "I think I understand now," the commander said softly. "When we saw them in your military and police forces, we assumed they were slaves, forced to fight. But they work with you because they want to help their friends." "That's right," Tom said. "And even our working dogs go home at night to play with toys, get treats, and sleep in warm beds. They're family first, helpers second." The analyst raised his hand like a student. "Sir, I've been studying more Earth transmissions. They have something called dog parks where multiple dogs gather for social interaction." The commander's eyes widened. "Multiple units congregating freely, without combat protocols." Tom laughed. "Want to see something really interesting?" He pulled up a video of a dog daycare where dozens of dogs play together, sharing toys and taking group naps. The aliens watched in amazement as dogs of all sizes romped around together, playing without any sign of aggression. Remarkable, the commander whispered. All this time, we thought we were monitoring weapons development, but we were actually seeing something far more advanced. True friendship between species. Max, sensing the serious mood, got up and brought his tennis ball to the commander, dropping it in his lap. He wants to play fetch, Tom explained. Even now? The commander asked. After helping save the station from pirates, he just wants to play. That's the beauty of dogs, Tom said. They live in the moment. Yesterday he was a hero. Today he's just a happy dog who wants to play with his new friends. The commander picked up the ball, looking at it thoughtfully. Perhaps this is what our species has been missing. Not everything needs to have a military purpose. Sometimes, a friend is just a friend. Max barked in agreement, his tail wagging so hard his whole body wiggled. And that's how the most feared military commander in the alien fleet ended up spending the afternoon playing fetch with a golden retriever, learning that sometimes the greatest strength isn't in weapons at all. It's in the simple joy of throwing a ball for a good boy. 1 month after the first contact, the UN Assembly Hall looked very different. Instead of tense diplomats expecting war, the room was filled with wagging tails and happy barks. Dogs of all sizes and breeds walked beside their human handlers, while fascinated alien diplomats watched their every move. In the center of it all sat Max, wearing a small bow tie for the special occasion. As Earth's first canine ambassador, he took his job very seriously, which meant giving equal belly rub opportunities to both humans and aliens. "Are you ready, boy?" Tom asked, adjusting Max's bow tie. Today was the signing of what newspapers were calling the Pause and Peace Treaty. The alien commander stood at the podium, looking much different from the fearsome leader who had first threatened Earth. He now wore a special uniform with pockets full of dog treats, and a tennis ball was clearly visible in one of them. "My fellow beings," the commander began, "1 month ago, we came to Earth expecting to find weapons. Instead, we found something far more precious: friendship. Today, we sign not just a peace treaty, but begin a new chapter in both our species' history." As if on cue, Max trotted up to the podium and sat next to the commander, causing several aliens in the audience to make soft cooing sounds they would have denied making just a month ago. The commander reached down to pet Max as he continued. "The first part of our treaty establishes the Intergalactic Canine Cultural Exchange Program. Earth has agreed to help us understand, and eventually adopt dogs of our own." The assembly hall's screen showed images from the new training facility, aliens learning about dog care, puppies meeting their first alien friends, and veterinarians from both species working together to ensure dogs could thrive in alien environments. "Second," the commander said, pulling out a dog treat and giving it to Max with practiced ease, "we will share our technology and knowledge with Earth, not as payment for their weapons, but as gratitude for showing us that strength can come from friendship rather than fear." Tom watched from his seat as the commander pulled out a familiar tennis ball. The entire assembly hall held their breath, alien and human alike, as the commander demonstrated his newly perfected throwing technique. Max bounded after the ball, his bow tie slightly askew, bringing it back to rounds of applause. And finally, the commander said, his voice growing soft as he pet Max, "We have learned perhaps the most important lesson of all, that sometimes the most powerful force in the universe isn't a weapon at all. Sometimes it's a wagging tail and a friendly bark." As the treaty was signed, dogs throughout the hall performed their own celebrations. Some howled, some spun in circles, and a few flopped over for belly rubs from the nearest alien dignitary. Later, at the reception, Tom found the commander surrounded by puppies from the new training program. One small golden retriever puppy, Max's nephew, had fallen asleep in the commander's lap. "I never thought I'd say this," the commander told Tom, gently petting the sleeping puppy, "but I think I understand now why humans kept saying, 'Who's a good boy?' They all are. They're all good boys." "And girls," Tom added, watching a female German shepherd teach an alien child how to play tug-of-war. "Indeed." The commander looked down at his sleeve, which the puppy was quietly drooling on. Our scientists are still baffled by one thing, though. How did humans create such perfect companions? Tom smiled, watching Max make his rounds through the reception, spreading joy with each tail wag. We didn't create them to be perfect. We just gave them love, and they chose to love us back. That's the real magic. The assembly hall was filled with the sounds of laughter, barks, and happy aliens discovering the joy of squeaky toys. On the walls, the newly unveiled logo of the Intergalactic Canine Cultural Exchange Program showed a dog's paw print next to an alien handprint, with the words "Peace Through Pets" written in both human and alien languages. And in the middle of it all was Max, Earth's first canine ambassador, teaching the universe one simple lesson. Sometimes the scariest beast of all turns out to be nothing more than a good boy looking for a friend. The commander raised his glass in a toast. To the dogs of Earth, not the weapons we feared, but the friends we never knew we needed. Everyone raised their glasses, while the dogs raised their tails, wagging them in perfect universal harmony.